Sinners is the worst movie ever made. How this movie became such a hit this year is absolute blasphemy. It's a movie with such paper-thin characters, paper-thin plot, and a stupid-ass message about vampires being bad. Like, name me one time vampires were bad. That's what I thought. You can't, idiot.
There are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death.
Now this is true, because all you really got to do is just listen to Ian's music.
Damn, I'm on my Britney shit. Oops, I hit again. Damn, I'm on my DJ Khaled shit. We the best. Damn.
Anyways, we start out with this guy named Sammy. He walks into church covered in blood, and immediately we're trying way too hard to be scary. I know you think it's easy to get people to be scared by having your main character be covered in blood and also these quick flashes of what happens in the movie. Well, guess what? It doesn't work like that. And then it ends. Oh. So we start out with Sammy, and for no reason at all, he just splashes this random lady with water, and he wakes up these random kids. Now keep in mind, this goes absolutely nowhere, much like this movie, but I mean, I guess somehow it's important to show that he's just an asshole. We then cut to Michael B. Jordan and... oh.
Now there are two of them.
Michael B. Jordan passes a cigarette to Michael B. Jordan. Why? Because aura. They meet with this random white dude, and while they're checking out this place, they threaten him with a bit of a tickle fight. But then they're like, nah, we're kidding. Here's the money. But for real, if I ever see your ass come back here again, I will tickle your fucking ass to death. And then the guy's just like, oh, my fault. And then he just goes about his way. So we cut back to Sammy. He walks into a church to talk to his dad, who is a pastor. And his dad's like, music bad. And Sammy's just like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then the Michael B. Jordan show up to pick up Sammy, who it turns out that they're his cousin, and they go to run some errands. On the way, Sammy says something to Michael B. Jordan 1 and 2 about how they were in Chicago for some reason. This really isn't important at all. It does not factor into the movie whatsoever. And then they stop in the middle of the road and pick up this truck, and a snake shows up out of nowhere. And yet again, we're trying way too hard to be scary. Like, we get it. Ooh, big bad snake. Ooh, so spooky. And then instead of trying to flesh out the snake, make him, turn into something probably a little more evil, maybe like a clown snake or something, quickly, Smoke stabs the snake with a knife. And again, this is just simply due to aura. However, the truck was not their only errand. They have a few more errands to run before they're actually able to open up the club that they just bought. So they decide to split up. Smoke takes the truck and Stack takes Sammy and the car. Now for Smoke, he goes and picks up a few things at this convenience store, shoots a couple guys in the butt. He shot him in the butt. And that's pretty much it. Like, the only other thing that he does is he goes to this little grave and pays his respects to his child. He goes to speak to the mother of his child, and he tells her he loves her. And at first, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. They love each other. And then she just grabs his whole piece. Was it really necessary for her to grab his piece in the middle of him saying that he loves her? Like, not really. Like, this movie kind of freaky. Now, as for Stack, he's driving with Sammy, and he starts talking about the clitoris. Once again, we get it. You found it. You have aura. They arrive at this train station, pick up this random homeless man, and hire him, and then this random white girl walks up to Stack, and she just starts talking mad crazy.
Well, I told you to stay the fuck away from me too, but I guess you didn't hear that part, huh?
I heard you. I heard you loud and clear, but then you stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard, I figured you changed your mind.
Okay? Like, who the fuck is this dude? Thankfully, Stack turns down her love and is like, no thank you, virgin till the day I die. Next thing you know, they're in the car with this homeless man, and then he starts telling his random ass origin story just because. And this scene in particular pisses me off. And it's not necessarily about the actual story that he's telling. It's actually about the way he's telling the story and how Ryan Coogler puts this into the movie. See, as he's telling this story, you start hearing these faint random noises of the events that had transpired within the story. Ryan Coogler, I know you just graduated film school and you've never made a movie before in your life, because this is not how you do it. This is not how you tell a character's backstory. See, the way you gotta tell it is through a visual sense. Essentially, you have to take, I don't know, let's say 45 minutes. You gotta take 45 minutes out of the movie to show flashbacks of the story, just to really hammer it in. Or better yet, don't even do the backstory. Or better yet, don't even do the movie. Like, it's a waste of time, and I just don't give a fuck. Like, depth to a character, what the fuck is that? So the homeless man, he finishes the story and is like, and that's how I became homeless. Alright, now play Off the Grid. And lastly, they pick up this old friend of Stack's, and he just tells his wife to go fuck herself for no real reason at all. So then they leave, and everybody heads over to the mill to get ready to open the club. And out of nowhere, this random ass guy just jumps over the camera, disturbs this couple, and I'm going to assume as well, just based off their wardrobe, they're actually a big fan of Ye. Not Kanye West, but Ye. He offers them gold, and then they let him in, and these random Native Americans knock on the door, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, wrong house. And then they leave. So the lady is like, now where my hubby at? And at first, you think he's dead, because they're both covered in blood. But then it turns out he was just sleeping, and I'm just gonna assume it's actually just ketchup, and they were probably eating some chicken nuggies from Wendy's or something. Also, why the fuck is the Irish guy's eyes glowing? Like, I'm really confused. Is he a Sith Lord? I don't know. It just feels so cheap. Like, it's ripping off Puss in Boots 2. Like, that's a stupid kids movie. Is Ryan Coogler trying to say that this is a kids movie? Because if so, I could see it. I mean, if the Star Wars prequels are kids movies, then I guess anything could be a kids movie.
He's all better now.
Hey, baby.
Don't cry.
Actually, when you think about it, this movie actually has a lot in common with the Star Wars prequels, in the sense that they're both incredibly boring and they're giant pieces of garbage. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive my language. I meant to say giant pieces of shit. So everyone shows up to the club, including that random ass lady, Mary. Sammy is like, hello, ma'am. Wonderful weather.
Boy, if you don't get the fuck out my face.
They decide to have a drink, and then Stack, you know, he just comes in and he stands on business until he says the stupidest shit in the movie.
I love you. I think about you every day.
You know, I never thought I'd say this during one of these videos. But as stupid as it is, I can't lie. I would have folded too. So the club, you know, it's popping, you know, people are enjoying themselves, music is being played, and now comes the scene everyone keeps talking about, where Sammy starts his performance. And off the rip, this scene sucks. This scene so badly wants to be Joker 2. But anyways, he plays this song he made, everyone is enjoying it, and then wait, who is this guy? Who the... Wait. What? Is this a time travel movie? Where did they come from? Is that JID? What? I am so confused. I mean, look at him. Even he's confused. So after his performance, Sammy, you know, he feels like he's killed it. He's done a great job. Everybody loved it. And he just decides to do the most disgusting thing ever and tries to go downtown on this lady. It's not even the fact he's trying to go down there. See, I'm an advocate for going down there, but in this case, that shit dirty as hell. She even says, let me wash up first. But nah, his freak ass just goes, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. So the Irishmen show up and are like, hey you guys, can we join in? And they try to convince them to get in by impressing them with this goofy ass song.
Jaybird laugh when I pick poor Robin clean. Poor Robin.
They cut that shit out. That shit not a banger? So they don't let him in. And after a few hours of being open, they've already counted up everything and they've realized that shit, they making money, but they not making enough money, you know, to stay afloat. So Mary, she's then like, let me see what those guys are like. And she goes outside and the Irish guy's like, check this shit out, and does his Sith Lord eyes. And then she's like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Wait a minute. Oh, immediately Mary goes inside and that one guy is like, hold up, I gotta go pee pee. Mary finds Stack and she does the stupidest shit and sexually assaults him.
So you rob trains and banks, but you can't steal this pussy for a night.
Oh my fucking gosh, what is this movie? This movie is ridiculous with how freaky it is. Like, okay, Mary and Stack, they go into this closet to smash, right? And that's cool and all. And there's a part where she bites him, and I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand that. But this shit?
You drew.
You want some?
I'll be right back. I gotta go hurl. So Sammy catches Smoke fucking and goes to snitch on him. When Smoke walks into the closet, this man don't hesitate. There's nothing but blood and opens fire immediately on Mary. And it's not even because Stack is now dead. It's because he has fucking aura. We're doing it again. What the hell? But then Mary gets up and is like, rah, I'm a vampire. And she just runs outside. This scene where Smoke is holding Stack in his arms is the most non-emotional scene in this movie. Like, I feel nothing. And it's not because this scene just wasn't done right. It's just that now I can't help but just think, oh my gosh, I can tell the two apart now. So because of this tragedy, they close the club, people leave, but the one PP guy is like, hold up, let me in. I was outside taking a piss. And they like, nah, you smell like PP, you gotta be a vampire. And he's like, nuh-uh. And she's like, huh. And he's like, nah, smell my hand, which is the smart thing to do. But then Smoke just shoots him in the face randomly. I'm just gonna assume this is because he smells like pee. But then he gets up and is like, aha, I lied, give me your piss. And then immediately right after that, you hear a knock at the door, and apparently Stack is alive. And I guess that pussy was so good it killed him and then brought him back to life. So he just beats the door down, gets splashed with water, and he's like, no, my hair, and just runs outside. And as far as the third act for this movie goes, it just a bunch of just shit happens, just random shit happens, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they decide to break furniture and make weapons out of it. They drive this dead body outside, and all these vampires outside, they're having such a great time dancing to a fucking banger. So the vampires, they try to get them to come outside, or they try to get them to come inside. I don't know. This shit is just so fucking boring. They start speaking some bullshit about how, oh, our minds are connected, come outside. I think if I was in this movie, I probably would have just hopped right out there and just told them to just end my whole little shit. The only stipulation I'd have, though, is like, I'd only have Haley Steinfeld to do it.
No vision.
So the survivors, they're at their low point. The Chinese lady, she's scared and she's upset that her husband is a vampire. Finally, she yells to let all the vampires come in and to murder everyone. Why? Because she realized that this movie was going absolutely nowhere, and then she gets herself killed in GTA. Smoke's baby mama dies, other people die, I die. The Michael B. Jordan's fight until they don't. Sammy, he tries to escape. The Irish vampire's about to kill him until Smoke just swims right past all the other vampires and even past him and just kills the Irish guy. And I don't know why this happens, but he then just turns into a fire tornado and all the vampires, they're dead. So after that, the beginning of the movie happens for Sammy again, and Smoke just starts shooting these random guys. And once again, the only reason why half this shit even fucking happens in this movie is because of Aura. This is a little excessive with the amount of aura farming that he does in this movie. He aura farms so hard that he just dies. Finally, years later, Sammy, he's like an old dude, and then this guy's like, hey, some fans want to talk to you. And then these two fuckers show up out of nowhere. And apparently, the only reason why Sammy lived was because Smoke made Stack a promise to let Sammy live the rest of his life peacefully. And this makes so much sense, because they state earlier in the film that the vampires' minds are connected, kind of like a hive mind. But I guess now they also have free will, apparently. Like, all they know is to just kill people and drink their blood, because, you know, their minds are just all connected to one other vampire, you know, because it's like a hive mind in a sense. But they're also, you know, able to have free thoughts of their own and be compassionate enough to make a promise and to keep it. And, you know, I think that's really a nice touch that they're able to do both, you know, because it does make a whole lot of sense. And then they leave so the movie can end. And wow, what a fucking joke this movie is. I just don't understand how audiences this year were so engaged with a movie about absolutely nothing at all. And I gotta admit, I am actually really excited for the potential of a Sinners cinematic universe where we just keep getting more shitty movies right after another.
Oh, wake up your baby, guys!